Welcome to Hometown Heroes. This is Rick Irving with my co-host Mary Staffel, and
Morning.
today we have a remarkable Army veteran, Jerry DeVaul, and Jerry is going to tell us some stories about life and how he went through 3 deployments in the Army, got out without a scratch, but he had a little accident a little later that dramatically changed his life. Jerry, welcome to Hometown Heroes.
Rick, Mary, thanks for having me. All the viewers, hello. Thank you all for inviting me and listening in to my story or my stories I'm about to share with you all.
How about Jerry? I think probably first through the Airpower Foundation. They've helped you out along the way. And then we got a dear friend, John Winsar. Mary's met John, and
Many times.
John's one of these remarkable guys. I mean, once you meet him, you don't forget him.
Nope.
Yeah, he's got some energy that I've never met from other people,
Yeah.
And he's the kind of guy that if you call him and say, John, I need you, you'd hear his truck starting before you got off the phone, telling him where to go because he'd be on his way. So,
Oh,
uh,
100%. Yep. He'd
just,
give the
just
shirt off his back type of
he
guy,
would. And then you just had a recent trip up to Walter Reed to meet another one of our friends that we've been working with through Freedom Mobility. So, Jerry, tell us a little bit about you. You grew up in Trinidad, Colorado.
Yes, sir. I grew up in Trinidad, Colorado. Just a little small town on the border of New Mexico and Colorado. Just coal mining community. That's pretty much oil, gas, and coal is the main resource in Trinidad. So just a bunch of blue collar boys down there. And it's a good community though. Played football, wrestled, track, and baseball down there as well. I was the captain of the football team, captain of the wrestling team, and then like I said, I ran track and then played baseball my senior year. Was tired of the track, so I was like, I'm just gonna play baseball senior year. Um, so yeah, and honestly, watching 9/11, that's kind of what took me to the army. Is I was a little upset, that, and then I was like, college probably isn't the best thing for me because I don't know, I like to party and stuff, So I was like, I honestly, being honest with you all, I think honestly, the army was the best choice for me. It got me away from my family. Made me grow up real fast. I made some brothers and sisters that I can never replace, and I would never want to replace them. They're best people ever. They've helped me get through some tough times, different things through deployments. I had 3 deployments, 2 to Iraq, 1 to Afghanistan. We would recover vehicles, either blown up or just down that from not just not working. So but them deployments honestly are what built me to the person I was when I lost my legs, and I did time at Fort Hood. I was at Fort Hood for 4 years, and then I was at Fort Carson for 3 years. The first 2 deployments were to Iraq. The first one was in 2004 to 2005, and then 2006 to 2007. And then I went to Fort Carson, and from Fort Carson in 2009 to 2010, we deployed to Afghanistan. Um, you
Were
know,
you with
on
the Fourth Infantry Division? Was it there then?
no,
Because they
no.
moved to Fort Hood, I think.
So I was with the Fourth Infantry Division, and what happened was I was just getting out of AIT, and they were coming home from the deployment. So I was like, "Hey," they were like, "You probably aren't gonna ever see deployment time, and you're only enlisted for 3 years." And I was like, "Well, I want deployment time," so I raised my hand to go to another unit and asked if I could deploy with them. So I deployed with another unit. Was the what 289th Quartermaster was the company, and the battalion was the transportation 180th Transportation Battalion. And then so we deployed twice to Iraq with them, where we'd run fuel and ammo and parts throughout the whole Iraq theater. So we would do convoys pretty much, and we would provide recovery for all the convoys that were going in and out, and then we also were part of the QRF teams where we would anything that would happen close to base, we were the first guys to go help them out if they needed recovery support. We'd go recover for them. So that's pretty much what we do in Iraq. And then Afghanistan, I was from there. I went to Fort Carson, where I was with the 984th MP Company, which was part of the 759th MP Battalion out of Fort Carson. We went to Asadabad, Afghanistan. We did a year out there. We pretty much just provide recovery if they needed it, support for the whole. It was a Navy base, so I got a NAM, Navy Achievement Medal for doing some missions for them, where we would recover for the Marines, or we recovered a cougar, I think it was, out of the city of Asadabad. So we got a NAM for doing some of that stuff. Um, yeah, so it was pretty cool having other branches, being serving on another branch's post, because I got a different award and stuff like that. And then just dealing with different people. Like I said, that was the coolest part, is I got to get away from my family and get into a bigger family. That is just so many cultures, so many just different. It was the coolest experience I think of the whole military, is just having different brothers and sisters of all from, it didn't matter their color of skin, their religion, their political status. It didn't matter any of that. Like at the end of the day, we were all there to accomplish a mission, and that mission was to all come home safe, and get whatever they wanted us to get, whether it was establish a government. Like we were kind of trying to help them establish a government or type of stuff, and then we had the other guys showing them like the agricultural side, where they would show them how to farm and all that stuff in Afghanistan, which was really cool. You're trying to help them out. um but yeah, so I mean, and honestly, them deployments, we would do the combat lifesaver course, which was key to my stuff, because I didn't even think it was going to be key. I was like, yeah, we always have medics with us. They're always there to respond. So this is like, yeah, if I use it, it's probably in a bad situations. We're probably in some very bad times. It's like if I ever have to fire my rifle, I always just tell them, you guys don't want me to fire my rifle. I can. I'm really precise with it, but you don't want me doing that. You'd rather me hooking up and get out of there. So if I'm firing my rifle, we're pretty deep into the
Yeah,
stuff.
that's what I always used to say anytime, because I deployed with security forces, and one of the things I always said to them is, if they get to me, we got way bigger problems, right?
Yeah, right.
Because I'm so far removed as the first sergeant from what they're doing. It was just a whole different world. But I love how you talk about the brotherhood and so you came from this, sounds like Trinidad's probably a small place.
Yes, ma'am. It's real small.
You, right, and so then you get into this where you have this huge worldview. So now you got cultures and traditions and customs and all kinds of different people, and I think that's what we've all experienced, is we see the world through a different set of lenses, because we see it through the eyes of our brothers and sisters that we served with, which is a neat thing that so many people never get out of their bubble. So they're stuck in this mindset and they can't see everything else around them. So that's really cool. I love how you talk about that.
Yeah, I was like, that was honestly like probably one of my favorite things about the military. It was like, otherwise I probably would have just stayed in the same culture that I was growing up in.
Right.
Never ever leave, never experience anything else, and
Yeah.
that's not what life's about. Life, you're supposed to live to the fullest and experience everything that you have the opportunity to experience. And with the military, they pay you to go to experience all this. It's
Right. Right.
like, I tell my daughter, she just graduated. I'm like, listen, the military is one of the best things ever, because they'll pay for your college, they'll pay for you to travel all over the world. Like, I mean, honestly, the military is a no-brainer for someone getting out of high school.
Yeah.
Like, you're sick of school, well, join the military. It's not that hard, I promise. Like, once you get past the first few weeks in basic training, it's like everything is so much easier and it's fun. It's like, man, you're getting to try these challenges with your brothers and sisters, right? You're like trying to figure out these obstacles. You're trying to win as a team. Like, like that's why I love the military. I was like, man, these like the obstacle courses were my favorite because my team was always winning because we're figuring stuff out left and right. I'm a on the fly thinker. You know, I think so fast. I'm like, oh man, this is what we got to do. We got to do this. We got to do that. You know, always thinking ahead. Always trying to think ahead. Like it's like something the military instilled in me. I guess like when they do all these trainings they make you think of all the scenarios, all the situations, not just one situation, right? There's many situations that could happen out of or many different scenarios that could happen off of one situation. Like, and that's what I always used to do is like I had only been working in this coal mine, I think it was 18 days, and 10
This
of the
was after,
days.
this was after you got out of the military. I mean, that
This
was
is six. I hadn't even been out of the military 6 months. I was I like was supposed to report to my reserve unit a week after I had lost my legs, but I had lost my legs, so I never even reported my reserve unit, which is kind of crazy because you know, like I thought someone would call and check in on me. No one ever called and checked in on me or anything. So I just kind of let the military stuff go, and then it wasn't until I started working with like the Airpower Foundation, the Freedom Mobility, Ant Lifts, you know, just organizations like that where I really started to, well, man, I really maybe should check the check my like what was going on with my military stuff, you know.
don't want
Um
them knocking on your door saying, "Hey, Jerry, you were supposed to be here
yeah,
14
Well,
years
and
ago."
so having been so I was active duty for 7.5 years and then a reservist for the rest of my 22. But you know, it happens so often that you have people that coming off of active duty that don't have a commitment anymore. So if they don't have any further commitment, then if they don't show up, you've got so many people that you're dealing with that you're like, well, you know, I guess I didn't really want to be here. And
yeah.
I don't think it's uncommon for them not to do that just because of the vast numbers. And was it going to be at Fort Carson?
No, I was actually gonna do it out of Aurora. It was up in Aurora, so
Uh,
it might have been like Buckley, I think, or one
oh
of
yeah,
them that
yeah,
it was out of, you know. So it
yeah.
was but yeah, like I said, I had lost the legs, and honestly, that was the last thing on my mind was
Right.
like honestly, because like the losing the legs was a crazy event. Yeah, like I said, I had been on the job 18 days. 10 of it was actually working. The rest was training. And honestly, during the 8 days that I had worked, I was like, there was red flags all over that I was someone was going to get hurt very seriously. You know, by the way things were running in the
Was this
mine and stuff.
was this like going down into a coal mine?
Yeah, so
Like,
we were actually opening up a new coal mine. Like, so there was actual work going on in the other mine, and then we were opening up a new one. So we were like just 200 yards into the face of the mine, so it wasn't too deep in, you know, yet. But we were like 200 yards in, and that's when, you know, it was like October 15th is the date the kid had hit me, and the day before was my wife's birthday. So we went and celebrated, and originally, so what happened was the kid was a he's a heroin addict, and he needed prescription pills to keep him from having seizures all day. So we were drilling this particular day, and we'd have to drill 24 holes. And I was on hole number 13, and I was all by myself at this time. This kid had taken off. He went to do whatever he had to do to keep his mind straight, you know. So he went and did what he did, and when he was coming down, I seen him coming down with this machine, and the only reason I knew it was a machine is because when you're drilling, it's a small little headlamp, you know, that you're working with, and I see the whole wall light up, and I'm like, oh, someone's coming down with the machine. Let me see who it is. Let me stop everything, shut off. I'm running a jack leg, and what a jack leg is it's a drill bit that's 18 foot, and it'll jack up 8 foot, and what you do is you have to jack it up to level off the drill bit so it stays level going in. So you have a just a level hole so you could run the 18-foot stick of dynamite in and blow up the wall. Well, we were supposed to be drilling, and I seen the machine come down. It was a mine scoop, and what a mine scoop is it'll go in and it'll pick up the coal and back it out and whatever, you know. So I seen it coming in. I stopped it about 50 feet away from me. He gets out of the machine and he comes over to me, and I could tell he's like pretty high, you know. I'm like, oh, he can't even talk straight. just mumbling words together. I was like, "Hey, just sit there, don't do anything else. Let me finish these last 11 holes, and then we'll throw this uh jack leg and the drill bit into the bucket, and we'll pull it all out." He was like, so that's what I thought we were gonna do. He had other plans. He went and got back in the machine after I had taken my attention off of him and started drilling. And I don't know if like, I talked to the surgeons and they said that he didn't hit me fast. He hit me real slow.
Mm.
So they don't know if he passed out and put it in drive, knocked the machine into drive and then just slowly hit me. And I don't remember being hit. I just remember waking up and I was on my back and I was like, man, things don't feel right. It's like 40 degrees in here, but my legs are on fire. Like they are burning up. I'm like, let me see how bad they're broken. That was the original thought. Let me see how bad they're broken. So I reach above my head, start looking for this headlamp. I finally grab it and I place it on my chest and I bend my right leg. As I bend my right leg, I notice it's amputated and I could see bones, ligaments, tendons. I could see my heart pulsating through everything. It would just like open up and shut. Like it was like a valve just opening up, losing a lot of blood, stop. And just kept doing that to the heart, to the rhythm of my heart, right? And then my left leg, I went to see how bad it was. It was still partially attached. I couldn't move it. So I was like, man, I better get this guy's attention. Try to get his attention, couldn't get his attention.
Oh,
Um, so I started applying pressure onto the right leg to stop the bleeding. Um, he comes down a few minutes later. He comes down and realizes he hits me. He backs me up like, and it ain't much, but he backs me up a couple feet. As soon as he backs me up, he comes back down. He starts apologizing and like just freaking out, crying. So he's so sorry. All this and that. I'm like, dude, just go get me help or I'm gonna die. I just need help right now. So and you can't help me. So go get help. So he took off running. As soon as he started to take off running, this machine starts to roll. The
oh,
left leg is still partially attached, like I said, and it's on top of the leg.
Mm.
Um, I grab the bootlaces, but every time I grab and pull, I lose a lot of blood. I lose so much blood. It's like a horror film. It would hit the bucket, and honestly, it just felt like I was splashing myself with blood. I hit the wall for a second time. I, curse out and start punching this machine, trying to take my mind off of the pain of the leg. Um, but while I'm doing all this, I realize how amplified I am and how much blood I'm losing. So I'm like, man, I really got to settle down. So I stopped I stopped panicking, I stopped freaking out, and I just started breathing. And I started praying and asking God if He would spare my life. I would show people I wasn't living with a disability, just a new chapter of life. And I mean, the entire time it's chaos. The machine that hit me is still running. The jack leg that I was running is right above me now, just full bore. At probably, I think it's like over 3,500 RPMs, just above me, just going away. And I'm like, honestly, the only thing I could think is just God help me get through this, and I will show people I'm not living with a disability. I know I'm losing my legs today. I am fine with losing my legs as long as you spare my life and you show me, you just give me a second chance, please. I have this unfinished stuff I need to take care of. Please just spare my life. And then I would just, because laid there for an hour and 45 minutes. I had this little stupid pocket watch. I would pull it out and I kept thinking, it's going to be my best friend. It actually turned into my like worst nightmare. It was like I'd look at him like, oh my gosh, only 5 minutes has gone by. This already seems like an hour. Freaking 45 minutes later go by. I can't, like, at 45 minutes, my mouth was so dry that it hurt to breathe. My nose, it hurt to breathe. My eyeballs to blink, it was starting to hurt to blink. I had felt pains I'd never felt before. I was like, holy cow, this is, and like, I'm like, someone's got to be coming to me soon. At an hour, I think it was. I was like, there's no way I'm making it. I'm like, can't even breathe. I can't think. I'm like, but I'm still just holding on. Just keep holding on and holding on. I see the first headlights. I see more lamps like coming because you can see them just bouncing off the top of the wall, like the top of the ceiling. You can see the little lamps. So I'm like, oh, people are coming. I look at the clock. I'm like, it's been over an hour and 45 minutes I've been laying here. I'm like, holy cow. Put the damn thing away, and they get to me, and the first guy gets to me, starts crying and starts freaking out. And I'm like, dude, like, you guys want to save my life or you want me to die? And they were like, we want to help you. We didn't know this has happened to you. And they're like freaking out. I'm like, guys, just calm down. Like, you guys need to get tourniquets on me. And they're like, we don't have an aid bag. And I was like, well, this dude wears ratchet straps for suspenders. We'll take them off of him, and there's a couple wrenches over here, and I'll show you how to make tourniquets out of them. So my combat lifesaver, I had a really good medic my last tour, right? And this guy would teach us how to make tourniquets out of everything and anything. So, I love the guy to death for it, and I'm like, teach these guys how to make the tourniquets. After they get the tourniquets on, I have them put the T and time on my forehead, and then I have them be positive on my cheeks, just so if I passed out, the next medics that got to me, they knew exactly I was B positive, oh, this is what time they put on this tourniquet, yada yada yada. And you learn all this from the combat lifesaver course. And these guys, they're all coal miners. None of them don't know anything about, first aid. So they're like, this guy comes up to me with this ice cold, like 2 liter thing of water. He's like, chug it, bro. You need this in the worst way. And I was like, you guys want to watch me die? Well, chugging this will put me into shock faster than you could say anything, and I'll die right here in front of you guys. I was like, what we need to do right now is just sip on this water, take little sips of it. I take little sip here and there, little sip here and there, and then you know, it was starting to turn into like a argument. So I just eventually threw the water. They were a little bit pissed off at me, and they're like, "This guy's hallucinating." And I was making jokes the entire time. It seemed like it was taking forever for the firefighters and paramedics to get to me because we were I think we're about a 45 minutes away from town, and the nearest fire department's a volunteer only, so I'm sure it takes them a minute to get to their things. So
But you were still down in the mine.
yes, sir, I was still in the mine. They they weren't moving me. They were just keeping me. Well, actually, what happened is in the reports, we got to see the reports, and the incline was steeper than it was supposed to be, so they got fined on it. Well, the machine landed up getting stuck that hit me. It got stuck, so they had to go hook up to another machine to pull it out. So they had to go get like the roof bolter or whatever to pull me out of the thing because it was just absolutely stuck. And it was like I was not coming out of this thing. It was like something was working against me. Didn't want me to come out of this mine. And then and what they like because they were volunteer firefighters, no one was allowed to give me any pain meds. So I had to wait till the Flight for Life helicopter got there. And honestly, once they got there, it was like honestly I still remember hearing them come in. And the entire time I was in the ambulance, I was messing with the paramedic people because my cousin, she's getting married this day, right? So I was like, man, what a real jerk I am, right? To die on my cousin's wedding day. I'm like, geez, how rude. I thought I was gonna be dancing, not laying in a freaking on a gurney, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you're crazy." I was like, "At least I can still move my feet with them all." And they were like, "This guy is crazy. He's like hallucinating." I'm like, "No, I'm just trying to joke, make the mood light." It's like everyone is so serious at this point, everyone's freaking out, like, and I'm like, "Man, we gotta relax here, people. If you guys want me to live, might as well go out joking. If I'm gonna die, I might as well joke on the way out. So,
Did
jeez.
they take you to the air ambulance? Did they take you to Colorado Springs?
So I was en route to Colorado Springs, and as we were flying over Pikes Peak, we are like right by Pikes Peak, and I was like, it's crazy to think I just climbed that like 3 or 4 weeks ago. They're like, I was like, I probably never climbed that thing the same way. They're like, dude, you're crazy. And they're like, well, mid flight they rerouted me to Denver Health, and so I was actually born at Denver Health. We had spent like the first 5 years of my life in Denver. So the hospital I was born in is the same hospital that saved my life. And I remember like coming in, we are gonna land on the roof, and you could just see all these people lined up, all these nurses and doctors and stuff. And I was like, holy cow, these are my angels right here. These guys, these are the people that are gonna save my life right now. So we landed, and my little brother happened to be there, and one of my uncles, my mom's brother, was there waiting for me, you know. And my uncle, he's this big old sissy. He's crying, and he's a big old mess. And my little brother, he's trying to be tough, you know. And we go to the back, and I tell my brother, "You're not letting them put me out. They're not putting me to sleep." I told him, "Over my dead body, we're not putting me to sleep. I'm staying awake for the surgery." And the surgeon's like fighting. He's like, "Sir, you cannot. Once you hear them saws, you'll go into shock." He's like, "You cannot. I have to put you under." And I was like, "No, you're not." I was like, "I won't make it." I was like, "If you put me under, I'm not going to make it. My fighting chance, I need to be awake." I told him. And he's like, "No, no, no, no." And my brother's like, "Jerry, just listen to them. They're professionals. They're the best people out there. You have to listen to them." And I was like, "No way. They're not putting that mask on me. They're not putting that mask on. I am not going to sleep right now. If you put me to sleep, I'm probably never getting up again." And I was like dead set that they could just put a local anesthesia on my legs and cut them off and I'll be fine, you know? And they were like, "No way, dude, you're crazy." So we fought for a little bit, and then I finally listened to my brother, and he was like, "Please just put it on." And I was like, "All right, I'll put it on." So I let him put the mask on me, and then I thought it was days, but it was only a couple hours later. You know, they were a pretty good team. They woke me up like I think it was like 6 hours later. I think they said. And once they woke me up, I was like, "Man, I got to get out of this bed. I need to get into a wheelchair. I got to go see all my family." Like I was so terrified because it would just happen. You know, like, man, I made it out of here. I got to go visit with everybody. So I thought I was in the clear. I thought I was gonna be this real inspirational dude. You know, I really was trying to be. And then I made it out of the hospital real quick. It was like 30-day stay, I think, with the max. And most of these guys just stay 6 months or whatever. I trying to get out of there as quick as I could, man. They told me, "You ride a Willie from here to there and you're out of here." I was like, "That's it?" They're like, "Yeah, you already showed us you could shower on your own, you could do this on your own." So I was like, "Boom, I'm out of here." So I pretty much rode that Willie and I was out of there. But that's when the dark times like really hit. I wasn't even ready for it, right? Like I thought, "Oh, I'm good. I'm this happy guy." Well, the dark times hit, and I really went into this like super deep depression. I was abusing drugs, like my prescription pills and stuff. I was just abusing them, chew one, snort one, take one. And I was doing that I think 4 times a day because the doctor allowed me to have that many pain meds and stuff. So I thought I was happy. I didn't realize I was super depressed and super down and not like this real happy guy. I was like really ready. I contemplated suicide pretty much on a regular basis and attempted suicide a couple times, and and just I don't know. It was real. It was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Thinking, yeah, I was spared. My prayers were answered, but it really wasn't that simple. It wasn't as just simple. It's just, oh, poof, everything's better now that your legs are cut off. Like I went through all this, like I don't even know how to explain it. This grieving process where I was really down for a while and didn't know what I was gonna do with life anymore. I'd always try to get my wife to leave me so I could, honestly just commit suicide and be better off. Everyone would be better off. Is the way I had felt for a while. It was this whole victim mentality. This poor me, and why me, all this and that. Hey, but everyone has to go through that, and that's what I was telling Josh. We all go through it, and we all have to go through it in order to find who we really are, right? And Rick, earlier I talked to you about how sports, they give you adversity and they teach you how to overcome adversity, right? Well, this is about to be the biggest adversity I had to overcome. I gotta figure out life all over again, and which was I was fine with, but now it's like getting over this pain pill addiction was the nightmare, and it was like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna get off this thing? So I went and asked the doctor. I was like, "Hey, how do I get off these pain pills?" He's like, "Well, over the next 2 years, we'll get you off of them." I'm like, "What? I'm never gonna get off these pills at that rate because you allow me to take these immediate release, which are just killing me." And honestly, it was a pharmacist who brought it to my attention. She stopped me one day when I was refilling a prescription, and she's like, "Do you realize you take more than the next 6 patients of pain pills?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "You should probably get your liver and kidneys tested because you're probably way out. Like they should be regulating this stuff." She's like, "You're abusing it." She's like, "I don't know if you're using it or if you're selling it or what." She's like, "But you're abusing it." She told me. you really need to really need to check. And I was like, wow, there's someone that cares about me. She really wants me to check on this. So I went and talked to the doctor. I didn't like his answer, so as me and my wife were leaving the hospital that day, and I told her, well, today's the last day I take a pill. And she's like, yeah, you heard what that doctor said. You'll die if you stop taking pills today. And I was like, yeah, and you also heard what the surgeon said, that I shouldn't even be alive today. That just continue to pray to whoever you pray to that day, because that's the only reason you're alive. You know how you were able to function, how you were able to stay alert during you losing your legs. He's like, most people pass out and that's it. He's like, I don't know how you were able to stay alive. He's like, all I could tell you is there's no scientific or medical explanation. Whoever you pray to that day, just continue to pray to that individual, because that's the only reason you're alive. And I was like, wow. So at this rate, if I continue to keep my faith in God, and I'll make it through this pain pill addiction, right? So the next 6 months were just a nightmare of, and I had been on the pills for, I think it was close to 6 years. I've been using and abusing pills every single day for the last 6 years, so I was just going to quit cold turkey, and I did. I quit cold turkey, but the next 6 months to a year were just a nightmare. It wasn't even fun living, it was like just every piece of my body hurt, my hair hurt, everything hurt. My body was like just freaking out. It was in this panic mode, like, what are you doing? Like I felt things I never felt before, and honestly, once I got over it, like once I finally was able to get past the needing the pills every second of the day, I was able to start living quality of life again, and I was able to start really focusing on the sled hockey and the mountain biking and stuff like that, and it was like my passion. And then I found the same camaraderie that you find in the military with the organized sports, right? So it was like I found sled hockey, and when I found the sled hockey, everyone was like, dude, you're super good. You're super passionate. You should just take over the presidency. And the guy was leaving the Warrior team, and he was like, you could take over the Warrior team and really help out other veterans, So I kind of did that. I took over the veteran team, and we went from five veterans to we were at 35 at one point, of running the team stuff. And we had two different teams that basically would travel all over the US playing, and I've been chasing the goal of getting on the men's US national team, and it's still a goal that I chase today, right? Like, if or when I make it, I'll be the oldest rookie to ever make the U.S. Paralympic sled hockey team. And I know I could do it because um, I just know there's something in me that most other people do not have. And I've I've been able to see it when I lost my legs and stuff like that, and then I see the way just knowing the way I play. There isn't too many people that play the same way I play. Actually, there isn't anybody that plays like I play.
Now, the sled hockey, there's amputees, there's paraplegics that play, or
Yeah, it's for everybody. We had a quadriplegic. He had movement in one hand, so we would tape one hand. We would tape a stick in the other hand, and then his other hand he would just be able to move. And he was honestly, this guy was the best player on our team. He scored more goals than everybody.
Wow.
He was the leading scorer on our team, and it was just because he had his son-in-law and then his neighbor would push him, and they push him all over the rink, and I would just wait for him to set up for me, and as soon as he would set up, I would throw the puck right at him. And the guy's a hockey guy. He grew up playing hockey. He's also he was an Air Force veteran. Anyways, he would just put his stick in the right spot, and we're scoring every single time. Every time I would throw the puck his way, he would score. It was unreal, and it was just a fun time, getting to play with guys like that and stuff, and then
now a lot of these people that you're playing with that you inspire to join the team. A lot of them have been through the same things that you went through. They've lost their legs, they've lost their mobility, they became addicted to drugs, and they found their way out of the darkness. And now they've got an avenue where they can feel whole. And achieve and accomplish things they never thought they could achieve and accomplish.
Yeah, I've been pretty fortunate, Rick, because that's where I say, like, when I asked God to spare my life and I would show people I wasn't living with a disability, well, I didn't understand what my calling was, right? Like, we had lost every court case, we lost everything. We didn't win a single thing. I didn't win all this money that, I thought I would win, that some of the lawyers had promised. I lost it all. I didn't win a single dime. But what I had gained was the riches in life, right? Like, the riches I got out of life were way better than any monetary value could ever bring to life. And I didn't, it took me a few years to realize that, right? But in doing so, it was like when I was running these veteran clinics, I'd get to run these veteran clinics and I'd get to bring a new veteran that was struggling with something. And now they found a new passion for life, right? And they found a new passion and a desire. And like, there's so many of them that I have found over the last 6 years. It's so crazy, right? Like, I lost my legs 14 years ago, and the last 6 years have been the best 6 years of my life because now not only am I helping veterans, but I'm helping children with disabilities, and that's my favorite thing, is because children with disabilities, they don't have the same. What the problem is our school systems. It's so expensive for them to go purchase adaptive equipment for only one or two kids who have a disability to so instead, like my organization, ColoradoSledHockey.org here, it provides for children with disabilities, right? So it gives them that same outlet that I had growing up as a kid. They don't get that. They don't get to learn the social skills, the work ethic, the everything that we learn from every day. Like, where everyone's so caught up in their cell phones that we don't have the communication skills anymore. Like, people don't even know what to do when you walk up to them and you're face to face, right? Like, they get so intimidated, and it's like people can't even talk one on one anymore. Like, let alone like public speaking. Yeah, right. These people would freaking fold because everyone is so caught up in their freaking phones. Like, get out of your phone for a minute and let's interact with one another. Well, that's what these sports do. They make them get off of these phones, and now they have to talk, communicate amongst one another, right? They have to actually sit there and physically communicate. Like, there's no more, oh, well, let me just text to you real quick. I've seen these kids nowadays, they're in the same room. They're all giggling. I'm like, what are you guys laughing about? Oh, she just texted me this. Oh, he just sent me this. I'm like, guys, we're in the same room. Talk. Like, get off this freaking phone already. And it's like, and but that's what the sports do. They give us that all that stuff, and these kids, they finally get to experience it as a disabled kid, where most of their life they've always been labeled different, right? So they have a chair, or they might use a crutch or a walker, but they're still human,
And your passion and your competitive spirit rubs off on them
Yes,
and
sir.
gives
Yeah,
them hope that, hey, if he can do it, this old guy can do it, I can do it.
yeah. This is an old man right here. He's like, I've been able to bring, like, so Korea, we did a joint practice here in Denver, and we got to train him, for an entire week where we showed him everything that we knew. I got to fly out with a group out to Japan, and we landed up, three of their players moved here to Colorado, and now they're, learning here stateside, and they're playing with us, and they're actually they're some of the best players in the world. They're on this team right here that you're showing, Rick. Itsuki, Shosei, and Masahiro, they all moved to Denver, went to language school, and continued to play hockey, better their skills so they could go back to the Japanese national team and hopefully win the B division and get back in that A pool.
I see by this picture that you're down in the promised land of Texas because there's a Texas flag on the wall.
Yes, sir.
Yep,
That was at
yep.
the Stars
Said-
complex.
Yep, Dallas, Texas.
Yeah. That was at the Farmer Branch rinks. That's where we'll play the national championship next year, is the Farmer Branch rink. So
Oh, cool.
next May in May we'll be down there,
We
so
need to
hopefully
come
y'all
and
come
we
on
need to
out.
come and watch it.
Yeah.
This is a 2025 championship.
This was in May in Florida. Yeah, we went down. We have I'm on the left, Itsuki's right there next to me. Nico, he's in the middle. He's a three-time gold medalist. One of the best defensemen to ever play the game. Then Matt Spang, he's he's a freedom mobility guy too,
Yeah.
And then Ralph D. Quebec, he's a Marine EOD, and then Rico Roman, he's an infantryman. Um, so we
One of
have.
one of your friends that is very involved in sled hockey said that it because of you it changed her life, and that's Carla Best, and we had her on probably last year, and your influence helped her a lot.
Yes, Carla is a great person, and honestly, that's part of the thing is we help one another, right? And honestly, Carla had told me that she was hermit for a while, and hadn't come out of her basement in years, because she was just affected of what happened to her, and honestly, she didn't realize there were organizations that were out there to help her better her life, and honestly, that's all we could do is show people like Carla that there's life after these situations that happen to us. There's good people out there,
And
whether it's John,
there's a
whether it's you all
yeah
that are willing to help.
there's a local car dealership that's just right across the freeway from where we meet for our roll call luncheon, Hiley Subaru, and they gave Carla at the Armed Forces Bowl a car that's all wheel drive. It's like a station wagon type car or SUV, and then Freedom Mobility was able to put a lift in the back of it so she could load her hockey gear in.
Yeah, that thing has been tremendous. So, like I said, when I met Carla a couple years back, got her at one of these tri sled hockey events, and I told her, hey, stick with it, keep coming to these things. It'll help you out tremendously in everyday life, right? And then so there were tournaments. She had a vehicle in the past that really wasn't working, where she was being stranded, so she wasn't able to come to some tournaments because of this vehicle. So I had reached out to General Potts and John and asked him, hey, can we nominate this individual to get a vehicle? I think it would really help her. She's trying to get back into shape and get back into playing hockey and all this. And there's been times this vehicle that she has left her stranded, and they were like, oh, yeah, we could definitely help her out. And, Carla being one of the first females blowing up in Iraq, I mean, it's a no brainer. We need to help these individuals out first, like,
Absolutely.
I mean, they went over there and they didn't care what circumstances were happening. They swore to protect, our constitution and our people of the United States, and that's what she did. She was over there doing that, and she got blown up. So why not help her out, and I know John and General Potts, they see the same exact thing, so they didn't understand. They're like, hey, we're gonna help her out. They helped her out, and honestly, it's been one of the best things for her. She's back in the community. She's really been a huge advocate since getting all this stuff, and she's one of the best people to receive something like this, because she's not just helping herself, she's helping others too, with the youth
Absolutely.
team, and then other female veterans, plus other veterans themselves, like she's always trying to advocate for us, to do this or do that, so it's a good thing.
Here's a little
A little
celebration right
celebration.
here.
Yeah, we had just won that Veteran Day tournament up in Rockville, Maryland. It's all veterans only, and we went up there, and the USA Warriors had won it. I think they had won it 3 times in a row, so they were the big favored guys to go win it. And me and Rico and the rest of the team, Garen, and like we went in there with other plans. We were gonna go out there and just show them all. We had John, John, and John. We had the three-headed John monsters. it, it was fun, just getting to work with all the branches and play against them, and come out victorious was the best. The champs. And at the end of the day, there's nothing better. I'm a competitive guy, so like I
You're
told
you're
them,
com-
hey, we're winning this thing this year.
you're competitive in a lot of things.
Yeah, yeah, that's me on my mountain bike. I that thing's my favorite, one of my favorite things to do, because it's just me and nature. Like, and you never know what's going to come up on that road. These are all single track trails, so you really have to concentrate. And my wife would ride behind me and with us, and then this is me trying to show the boys that, hey, look, there's obstacles in life. It's just, how do you take it on? Do you go straight at it and go up and over, or do you sit there and debate it and then, I'm not gonna do this, I'm
It's
just gonna go.
hard enough sometimes just walking across something like that, but to do it in a wheelchair.
Yeah, getting up it was a real pain. It was like I flipped back. I almost flipped out of my chair 2 or 3 times doing it, but I was like, yeah, the boys, and then my wheelchair barely fit on the edge. So like when I got to the bottom of it, I actually came off the wooden platform. So, but it was like, I had to show the boys that, it's just how you take it on. So it's a good little lesson for all of us.
And this is at the Freedom Mobility Golf Tournament, and you see all those carts. Those are solo rider carts that are designed for people with mobility issues to play golf. And you can see we have quite a few people in those carts. And there you are in the cart. And you play chair golf too.
Yeah. I picked my favorite folding chair and make sure it doesn't tip back when I swing. Yeah, we played 18 holes with the folding chair. Me and my buddy Spang, and we had Hawk and Ethan on my team. We did really well too for 2 guys without legs.
Do a little acrobat stuff too.
Yeah, a little warm up before we're on the greens. Got to warm up the arms.
And here's a fishing trip. And that's Doug, the red bearded guy that's standing. He's an amputee, and
Yep.
he has a nonprofit down on the coast of Texas that takes veterans fishing and doing other outdoor activities.
Yeah, this is one that I had asked Freedom Mobility to kind of help us out and sponsor it a little bit, and they did. Freedom Mobility helped sponsor, and myself and Ralph and Aaron. Aaron is a sniper. Ralph is a EOD, and Doug brought them all out, and he honestly showed us like different fishing techniques, how to get the boats in and out of the water, and honestly was just healing on the water is what it felt like.
You were kayaking. You were
Yeah, we went
catching these fish in
kayaking.
kayaks. So
Yeah, it was a different experience catching them big fish on a kayak.
yeah,
It was
they'll
real
give you a
fun.
ride, won't they? Oh, speaking of rides, this is just a few weeks ago at Walter Reed.
Yes, sir.
And
Them coyotes, man. Whew.
I think that we may be giving a couple of those to some people at the Armed Forces Bowl. So I think those are a good little vehicle. I'm going to play this because this is a fella that has a little bit to say about you and John Winsire, and that is Josh Meyer. And Josh is a quad amputee, and he wasn't blown up with an IED or anything. He had the flu or something and got some kind of infection, and so he's lost his limbs. But he's got a passion like you do, and it's from you. So here's Josh.
A lot of people don't know this story, but I met Jerry and John first. And I met Jerry and John when I was in the long-term acute care hospital. I still had, I think, both my black hands, right? Like, it was early on in the process. And I had just had, like, my week of grieving, if you would, of understanding what happened, being angry about it, being upset about it, the whole, like, why this? And I was just in that last day of, okay, like, what happens next when John and Jerry came in to visit? And I couldn't tell you, like, that visit was so well timed. I remember you telling me, like, hey, man, we've all been where you've been. It sucks. You got to get through it. This is just a moment in time, and I've held on to that, and I appreciate it. And John, I don't know if you ever have a bad day, man. You like your energy and excitement through the whole time, but it really was that catalyst from one stage to the next that helped with what has been just up, or I should say downhill and downhill as far as getting better in recovery. And I just want to say thank you both.
That's just some of the impact that you and John have on these people. Just remarkable. And, you go talk to people that have gone through a similar situation as you. Just a week or two ago, we had Eddie Beasley, and Eddie was with us at the up at Beaver's Bend trout fishing, and that's what Eddie does. You know, he goes in and just rolls in there and talks to people, and it helps kind of flip that switch, just like it was in your head when you got the switch flipped. That hey, I've got to go on with life, and I have to go do the things that I want to do, and not be in this deep darkness. And you have a lot of reasons to do that. There's Josh there, uh, but you have some boys that you
Oh,
really are being able to spend a lot of time with now.
Yeah, I've been pretty fortunate. That's honestly with the it's like showing these boys that no matter what situation's at hand, there's always a solution. We always tell our oldest, like, this is one of our, there's always a solution to every problem, right? There's no, like, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. There's always a solution, guys. Like you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. That's it. Like, you know what? Life gives you lemons, so you make lemonade, right? Like, don't sit there and get mad, like because you have this or you have that or you have this or that. No, like we all have situations that happen. But if how we make like it's in the morning. Do we get up in the morning, have a good morning, or do we get up in the morning and have a morning where, oh, this isn't looking good. Oh, that's not looking good. Don't let one moment ruin the next 12 hours of your day.
mhm.
Like there's a lot more hours to overcome one little situation, one 5 minute little situation that just happened, It's like, oh, I spilled something. Oh wow, get over it. Like
Right.
now it's time to figure out what the rest of the day has in store for you. And if you start attacking it with like that, oh man, it's starting off this way. Well, yeah, you're gonna have that type of day. I always tell little Jerry and David when I drop them off at school, learn lots, right? Because I'd rather you go in there think with the mindset like, oh, I need to learn a lot today. Like so instead of like I used to go in there and tell them have a good day or whatever, and I'm like, well, they're already having a good day. They need something else. Like, so learn a lot today.
That's
Learn
right.
a lot from today, right? Because you never know what you're going to have tomorrow. You might not be able to learn tomorrow because there's a situation that happened, right? So
Yep.
learn a lot today and love a lot today, too. Honestly, that's what I tell my guys, love a lot because you never know when, that might be the last time you get to tell someone you love them. So
And
Well,
these are
you are very resilient, and you are teaching other people the value of resiliency, because that is really critical in being able to get through those dark times. You can't do it if you can't find your way, right?
100%. Yep. You have to stay resilient. Like, and honestly, it's like life's always going to throw adversity your way. It's how you handle that adversity though when it does hit you. So right now I'm reading The Breathing Cure, right? And everything could be fixed through our breathing. It's so crazy. Like I'm reading now like dysfunctional breathing is like a cause of a lot of problems that we have ourselves. Like it's like the food we put in our body is also causing a lot of things.
Right.
So it's like people we got to be smarter. It's like this book just talks about nasal breathing. Like my dad was like, "Oh yeah, you want to breathe in through your nose and then out your mouth?" It's like, "No, you want to only breathe in and out of your nose, nothing else. Like it doesn't matter. Like a strenuous event, yeah, you should still be breathing through your nose. Like the nitric oxide levels in your blood, they affect what type of mood you're in. They affect what type of how you handle different situations. And as long as you're breathing through your nose, it'll fix a lot of things, right? So as kids when we breathe through our mouths, they say it's causing a lot of like it causes your facial features to grow different.
mhm.
So so it's a real interesting book. I definitely recommend people to read it. It's been one of my favorite reads. I go to the library and me and the boys will go to the library and we'll pick out a book, and we're trying to sight we're teaching David how to sight read right now. Little Jerry, he's pretty good at reading. He's in third grade now and he's at 192 words a minute. So he's
That's
doing
good.
yeah, he's doing really well on the reading, and we really try to keep him like he's done the cursive. he writes cursive, reads cursive. He's really good at it. You know, he's been doing it since kindergarten. David's about to learn cursive this year, so it's really good. And then little Max, you know, he's the boss. He runs the whole entire house. He's got the smile that, you know, he just knows how to take everything. You know, he just knows how to get what he wants with the smile.
And
You know?
this picture are the three most important women in your life: your wife, your daughter, and your mother.
Yep, yep. They're the most. Them are the three that got me through my. You know, when I lost my legs, they're the three that got me through everything, and they were my anchor and, you know, my support through it all. You know, there wasn't anything. You know, my mom, she just recently dealt with stage 3 ovarian cancer. You know, she's in remission now, and I watched that lady work every single. She never called off. She never made any excuse. You know, just continued to work through all her chemo and everything. Like there were people that would call off for a hangnail, you know, and my mom, you know, going through all her chemo and just fighting every single day. She continued to work, didn't call off. You know, went with the positive attitude. You know, just knew, you know, that she had to keep her faith in God, and if she did that, she would be all right. And he would, you know, help her get rid of the cancer and stuff, you know, or put it in remission. And that's what happened, honestly, you know, and that's why I stay resilient, is because my mom's been resilient my whole life, you know, just honestly, like,
Her positive attitude and her faith in God is the reason you're here today.
oh, 100%. Yes, sir. That's the only reason I'm here today, you know?
And that's from the 4th of July at Trinidad, isn't it?
Yes, sir. So this is our football field. They open up like, you could go and, reserve a spot, and it goes back to the high school. They're trying to build a track. We never had a track growing up. We always had like this weird clay surrounding our football field, you know. And like I said, this is the toughest place to play. You know, football. It just builds monsters, you know. Like, um, but yeah, like so you get to go support the high school and watch the fireworks with the family. You know, the kids, they ran on the football field the entire time. They, you know, just they absolutely loved it. It was a real fun family time. You know.
That's the football field that you played at.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's the football field I played at. So, you know, it's kind of where everything was built. You know, like all my morals and ethics and stuff. You know, that's where everything started. So we go back there all the time. My family owns land down there. My mom and dad are still down there. My my mother-in-law lives down there still. So most of my mom's sisters and brothers live down there still as well too. So she has a pretty big family. You know, she has 11 brothers and sisters. So
Whew.
I got a lot of cousins. You know, so.
And a lot of times we see people that have gone through traumatic injuries like you, and it's the family that shored them up. It's the family that helped bring them through. And I know it's a good feeling for your mom and for your daughter and for your wife and your sons to see the man you are today, because you've been through so much and you get such a positive attitude and you touch so many lives because of your attitude and because of your passion for other people.
Yeah, you know, honestly, it's yeah, what my mom taught me. She's, you know, always treat people the way you want to be treated. You know, like don't go out there, or I guess not even that. You know, treat people the way they should be treated is what she always taught us. You know, so that's all I try to do is just treat people with respect, and you know, because everyone deserves respect in life. You know, and then a simple smile could honestly change anybody's. They might have a bad outlook, and you give a smile, and it changes their whole outlook on the day. You know, that's a win for the day.
And you know, like Josh said in that video about John doesn't ever have a bad day. And I think you don't ever have a bad day. We lost you, Jerry.
Uh-oh, do we lose him right at the end?
I think so. Well, that was
His battery died or something.
yeah.
Wow. Talk about resilient.
Absolutely. I think he might pop back on here in a minute. We'll see. What a great positive guy. And you can go to Colorado Sled Hockey and find out more about him. He's the president of the Colorado Sled Hockey Organization. And if you're in Colorado Springs or in the Colorado area, certainly want to look him up. Just reach out to him. Even, if you're going through some things and want to talk to somebody, I know that Jerry will want to talk with you.
For sure.
What a great guy. I've gotten to spend time with him in different situations, and he's always got a smile on his face, always happy-go-lucky. So,
yeah, so much to be grateful for.
There he is.
Sorry, y'all. I had some technical difficulties there for a minute.
Okay. We were just telling, for people in the Colorado area that want to know more about sled hockey or nationally, I mean, just reach out to you. And if they just want to talk, if they're going through some tough times or in a world of darkness from their injuries or the drugs, I know that you would talk to them and help them out.
Always. Yep. I'm always willing to, lend an ear or whatever they need, for that case. But an ear and a shoulder is always good to have. Someone, always willing to listen and always willing to give some advice, no matter what the situation may be,
Absolutely. Well, Jerry, it's been a pleasure and an honor to have you on our podcast today. And
yes,
I can't wait to see you again. And we'll just love you and thank you so much for helping our fellow veterans and for helping those children. You're an inspiration to so many.
Rick and Mary, thank you both so much for having me. And, love you both for what you guys do. You guys are always helping veterans, and always making sure that their stories are being heard. And, honestly, it's great that you guys do this. And, I really like it. And it's amazing, like people not everyone gets to see these stories until they're shared by other folks like you all. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah. Keep it up. Keep up the good work.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Jerry, we'll talk to you soon.
We'll talk soon. Thank you all for having me. Have a good day.
Thank you for being here. Go Army.
Yes, go Army.
Bye-bye.
Always keeping on the Air Force, Rick.
Wow, what a great guy.
Man, I'll tell you what. He brings tears to your eyes just thinking about how he's taken adversity and turned it into something positive. And, so many people fuss, like he said, they, one little thing goes wrong and, it's the end of the world. It ain't the end of the world. It's not the end of the world,
You think for every one of those people like Jerry, there's hundreds of them. They're trapped in that darkness, not just from the drugs, but from the injuries, and they don't know the way out.
Nope, they're on the sidelines watching the game rather than getting in the game, and he's helping them get in the game.
That's right.
So he's a great example of how to live the hand you've been dealt. It might not be the hand you wanted, but it's the hand you've been dealt, and you better figure out how to live with it, right? And he's a shining example of doing just that. Boy, you just can't meet somebody like that and then go, oh, geez, I tripped and got a bruise, or I don't know.
But to lay there in that coal mine for an hour and 45 minutes.
It's amazing he survived. Like he said, nobody that is bleeding as much as he was obviously bleeding should have survived. So God spared his life because he had something more that he needed to do, and he's still doing that work. So until you're done doing the work God put you here to do, he's going to keep you here. So you need to get busy working.
You do.
Yeah.
Speaking of working, you work quite a bit. And roll call is the 22nd of this month.
Ooh, it's coming up.
And when will reservations? Will they go out Monday?
The 11th.
Okay, the 11th.
Monday.
Okay.
You're right, Monday. Yep.
That's That's
The RSVP line will open at 9 o'clock in the morning, Monday. Get on there and get your RSVPs in. We'll be back at Birchman. Woohoo! We're excited. It just seems like forever since we've been there. And, we really, that's been home for so long. And Willow Park was awesome to us. And we are so grateful for them allowing us a spot that we could continue to do what we do. But it's like when you get your home remodeled and you move out while they're remodeling, it's always so nice to get back home.
It is.
Right? So it's going to be nice.
Well, John from 99% Radio and Patty, they said hi. Good morning. And then Miriam, well, we miss her.
Yeah, we do.
She said, what a story. And Susan Turner said, amazing story. Miriam said, we'll see you in September. So she must be coming back down here pretty soon to visit. So a lot of things going on. We had the Patriot Roundup. We'd been talking about that. And I went there and I told them the other day that it was like the Airpower Foundation just took it to a whole new level. I mean, an amazing program. It was honoring the Native Americans and had Indian tribal dances and some of the ancestors from the World War I Choctaw code talkers were there. And then they had a magnificent auction. I mean, I don't know how many. I know it was in the hundreds of thousands of dollars that they raised.
Yeah.
But we had that lady that I forgot her name that did Don Graves' picture that hangs up.
Oh yeah. I heard about that.
She did two pictures.
Doggone it. Yeah, Katie Von Paul.
And they.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they went in excess of $15,000.
I heard it was $20,000.
Yeah.
$20,000 each.
Yeah. It was just
crazy. And it's crazy to watch her how she does that.
It is, because while the program was going on, she was over there painting two pictures. So just magnificent organization. We had Gabriel. He's a former Ranger, and he rucked from Grand Prairie, 110, it was over 100 degrees that day. And it wasn't like he was out in his jogging suit. He had a big coat on and a big rucksack. And
yeah, I couldn't do it. But yeah, everyone I heard from said that it was really an outstanding event. So that's great. I'm glad that it went so well. And we are really grateful for Kevin Folland. He is with the Airpower Foundation, and he provided a table for us to send 10 of the roll call.
We had several World War II guys and Korea and Vietnam.
Yeah, we had a nice group, and they all really enjoyed it. Really had a good time. And
this month is I don't have the slides up today, but it's the 20 guns in 20 minutes, and we're going to have that drawing at roll call.
We are.
If you go to roll-call.org, you can find out more information about how you can buy the tickets for that raffle. It's a great, it's a great raffle.
For $100, you get 6. So it's 20 for one ticket, and it's good for all 20 guns. So like Rick always says, we put the ticket back in the hopper, spin it back around, and it could get picked again. So one ticket is 20, but you can get 6 tickets for $100, which is a really good deal, and that gets you even greater chances. And so get out there and purchase your tickets now. And because time's running out, we're getting there. We're getting close to the time we're going to do that. And we'll also be celebrating the very, very special Jack Dye. He'll be really our guest of honor. It's not so much a speaking part, but we're going to be sharing Jack's story. Jack should be at the luncheon. And what makes Jack even more special than just turning 100 years old and being a World War II veteran is he is the last remaining member of the original 15 roll call veterans. So he's the last one left from that first group that got together that made roll call roll call. Isn't it crazy? So it's really a blessing. We're looking forward to honoring Jack that day.
Well, it should be good. If you aren't a member of roll call, or you want to start getting on the reservation list and know when the reservations come out, go to roll-call.org. There's a place there where you can sign up. That way you'll start getting the newsletter, and you'll know when the reservations come out, because it's the hottest ticket in town and they go fast.
Right. Fill up in about 3 days, so don't dilly-dally.
They do. Well, Mary, it's been a pleasure today. And, Jerry was absolutely a great story. He has a great story that he went through all that in Iraq and Afghanistan. And it wasn't until he got out of the Army that he had that accident where he lost both legs. So, and he inspires so many. So,
right. Absolutely.
We will see you next week on Hometown Heroes. Thank you all for being part of this.